Hey there, hey friends, Ken here, your thrifty apprentice, and today we are talking tracing. Now, despite what you may have heard, tracing has some amazing benefits to artists of all levels, especially those who are just beginning their art journey. Now, tracing helps beginners understand the basic shapes and proportions of a subject. It allows them to see how different elements can fit together. By tracing, artists can develop their hand-eye coordination, which is essential for drawing freehand. Tracing nurtures fine motor skills, pre-writing skills, spatial awareness, and other essential developmental aspects of art. It also aids the creative flow and can greatly help boost confidence when creating. So now that we have an idea of what benefits come along with tracing, let me take you to the creation table and show you how I do my tracing the thrifty way. So friends, as we go into this project, I would like to ask you to put all of your preconceived ideas about tracing aside, out of your head, jump into this project and have fun. So I'm going to show you two different ways that you can pull this off. The first one is going to be very simple and straightforward. You can use things you have around the house. Now, for your image, you can source it from many different places. I personally pulled mine from the internet, printed it out on a regular printer paper. You can put it from a magazine or a brochure or a pamphlet or a flyer, or book, coloring book. Just keep in mind that I do not suggest this is something that you practice or put into practice if you're painting a commission or if you're planning on selling whatever the image is being transferred to. This should strictly be for practice, growth, and fun. So here I have transfer paper and a regular piece of printer paper or typing paper, if that's what you want to call it. So with transfer paper, it is basically a transparent sheet of paper that you can draw on that allows you to lay it on top of an image and see directly through to that image in order to transfer it to the transfer paper. In this case, I would simply lay the transfer paper on top of the candy cane. I would take a graphite pencil. I would trace the candy cane. I would then turn the tracing paper over using graphite, cover the back of the image, flip it back over onto whatever surface I was going to be creating on, and then draw the front of the image in its way, transferring the image to whatever substrate you're going to be creating on. Now, what if you don't have transfer paper? Well, here, as you can see, I've covered a small portion of my disc with white paper. I've printed on white paper, and I'm going to be using white printer paper. If your image is bold enough, if it's not too cluttered, there's not too many things going on, a really simple thing you can do is just lay another piece of white paper on top, and you should be able to see your image through it enough in order to draw and transfer. You would do the exact same thing, flip it over, cover the back with graphite, place it on top of whatever surface you were going to be creating on, and then redraw your image, transferring it to that surface. Now, the other way that you can do this is through light transfer. Well, what I mean is adding light to the back of the image, illuminating it enough so that you can then use either white paper or transfer paper in order to draw it. So I'm going to say that you can use your window in daytime as backlight if you don't have a light box. You can use any glass surface in your house that you feel comfortable being able to draw on, like a coffee table or maybe a dining table. Put a light under it. In that way, you're creating a backlight, and it will give you the exact same effect as using a window or as using a light box. Or you can use a light box. which is what I'm going to be doing. This is a light box, or in my case, a light board. I purchased mine off Amazon. It was very reasonable, and you can find these relatively a lot of different big box places. So it illuminates the back of the image, making it easier for me to see if I was to use, say, regular white paper or even tracing paper. See how bold it makes it? Very easy. As I was telling you earlier, you can pull this same effect off by putting light under glass. Now, I'm going to demonstrate this. Please take caution when using this method if you decide to, and definitely supervise any children. Now, I have a picture frame here. It is not the cleanest, but I just want to demonstrate this to you. So you would put a light under a piece of glass. You can use a box, cut a hole in the side, stick a light in, lay the glass on top, or as I said earlier, a glass coffee table, a glass dining table if you feel comfortable with that. So once the back of the glass is lit up, you would place the image on top, and as you can see, you will get the same effect. You could then lay down your paper and transfer your image. Let's look at an example of some other things you could use other than a printout. This is from a magazine. I liked the flowers, so you could lay the flowers down. You can lay down either your white or your tracing paper and transfer. Here I have a page from a coloring book. Same deal, you could lay down your white or your tracing paper. I am going to be using, of course, our candy cane because we are still working on Christmas cards, and I will remove that glass, and I'm going to anchor my image down to my light board using some masking tape here, just on both ends so it won't slide. And then I'll cover it with the white paper that I'm going to be transferring it to. I think I put it in the corner, make it a little bit easier when I get ready to put it on the 5x7 paper I'm going to be working with. I'm going to anchor down my white paper as well, just so it won't move. And then I'm going to be using a 2B. You can use a HB. You can use a regular school graphite pencil. You can use something that comes in one of your little art kits, like this is Art Skill. I think it came from like the dollar store. Just any old graphite pencil, including a mechanical if you chose to, in order to transfer your image. Now we can transfer this to what we're going to be creating on. Now before we transfer our image, I'm going to show you something a little thriftier. This is specifically for people who actually have printers. If you print out your image onto white copy paper, you can skip past all those other steps. Simply flip the paper over, cover the back of your image with graphite, and then you are capable of simply flipping your image over onto what you're going to be painting on, securing it, and redrawing it. I don't want to have to retrace the thicker lines, so I am going to be using the straightforward pencil drawing or tracing that I did. I'll flip it over, I'll cover the back with graphite, and then I'll place it down on top of my substrate, secure it with my tape, and then I'll use my pencil to redraw. And here we have our transferred image. Let's get to painting. As we begin, I will remind you that the point of this video is to shake off some of those negative thoughts about tracing and to have fun. I have to tell you, that is exactly what I did while painting this. I have been having a ball working on Christmas card designs as this holiday season has gone into full swing. I really felt like this candy cane would be a great addition to the ones I have already tackled. The paints I am using for this composition are new to me. This is the Holbein HWC watercolors. I recently unboxed them and put down a dot card size amount of each color in this really cool Magello water soluble palette. Now, you may be familiar with the Magello name if you have ever used their Mission Gold Professional watercolors or their Mission Silver student grade watercolors. Now, they also make a Mission Titanium Artist Gouache, but I have yet to have the pleasure of trying those out. The dot size amount of paint I put down was done to leave plenty of paint in the tubes for panning half pans later on. Plus, a dot size amount of color is more than enough to get through several paintings. Definitely enough in the case of just testing a watercolor product. One thing about watercolors versus a lot of other mediums, they go a really long way with a little bit. Now, I started with laying down my first layer of paint all over my composition so that it would all dry around the same time. Now, for the candy, I mixed a really light gray to cover it. It would help it stand out against the pure white of the paper background and also add shape and roundness to the candy cane as we go along. I used what I consider the truest red of the set for the bow and eventually the stripes on the candy. Permanent green number 2 mixed with permanent lemon yellow was used for the holly leaves. Now, this composition is actually really straightforward, and I did my best to keep the painting pretty easy so that anyone can do it. Due to the tracing, we made really quick work of the first few steps of painting and subconsciously built muscle memory and visual awareness of the shape of the candy and how our hands would move to manifest it on paper. You all have heard me say many times that you do not have to know how to draw in order to paint, nor do you have to know how to paint in order to draw. However, I will still drive home the fact that knowing how to draw in or sketch to some certain degree will drastically improve how and what you paint. Adding the stripes to the candy was actually really fun. Here again, I used the same red I did on the bow. Now, in this set, that is Rose Madder, a beautiful color when it's watered down or even at mass tone. I also used a 100% cotton paper for this composition just to give me a chance at better results once everything was said and done. Plus, I heard before trying the paints that they were really beautiful, so I had to use a nice paper to paint them on. Now that you've had a chance to kind of go through and hear the process behind what I am attempting to convey to you, I will let some music play to finish this time lapse and see you on the other side. And there, my friends, is our video and our composition. I just wanted to show you guys all of the Christmas card fronts that I've worked on during this season. And I do have many, many more to come. You can go check out all of these in videos on the YouTube channel. So please go explore, have fun playing along. Thank you guys so much for joining me for this video. Please jump in the comment section. Let me know what you think. What did you think about today's content, today's composition? Did you paint along? Have you used Holbein? Let's just start a conversation. If you're new to the channel and you haven't subscribed, or you're returning and you haven't, do hit that subscription button and notification bell so that you will not miss when we upload or go live, so that you don't miss paint alongs like this one. Friends, like the video by sprinkling a little love, and share if you share to care, to get it in front of other viewers like you. Check the video description for all of the relevant links. Don't forget to go check out the Defyantarts website. And remember, as I tell you at the end of every single video, friends, just keep creating.